New to Marvel Crisis Protocol and not sure which team to pick? You're not alone. One of the first and most exciting decisions in MCP is choosing your affiliation. It's your team, your identity on the table, and it can shape the entire way you play the game. In this video, we're breaking down everything you need to know about affiliations, what they are, how they work, and a beginner-friendly overview of every major team in the game. So, what exactly is an affiliation? In Marvel Crisis Protocol, an affiliation is essentially a themed team of characters. Think Avengers, XMen, or Spider-Foes. Each affiliation has one or more leaders and a unique leadership ability that gives your team special benefits throughout the game. To count as affiliated during a match, more than half, that is 50% or more, of your squad has to belong to the same affiliation. Leadership abilities are what really make affiliations stand out. These are powerful, always-on effects tied to your chosen leader. It's a major part of your strategy and one of the most important parts of picking your team. As of April 2025, there are 28 affiliations in Marvel Crisis Protocol, and that number keeps growing with new releases. That might sound overwhelming at first, but don't worry, you don't need to learn them all at once. In fact, it's best to start small, find a team you like, and slowly build from there. Many affiliations are beginner-friendly and come in budget-friendly starter boxes, so it's easy to dive in without breaking the bank. Coming up next, we'll go through every major affiliation and talk about how they play, what their leadership does, and how easy they are to use for new players. We'll start with A-Force. A-Force currently includes 22 characters and is led by She-Hulk under the leadership ability Defenders of Arcadia. This leadership ability allows your team to gain power whenever one of your characters takes damage from an enemy effect. A-Force can be played in a few different ways, bruiser-heavy brawlers or even techie control teams. But the core idea is that your team gets stronger as they take hits. For beginners, the challenge lies in She-Hulk herself. She's a 6-threat leader, which doesn't leave you much room in your squad for other characters. That can make your team building feel a little bit more restrictive, so I'd say A-Force lands at the moderate difficulty for new players. Asgard is made up of 13 characters and actually has 3 different leaders. Loki, Prince of Lies, the Mighty Thor, and the original Thor, Prince of Asgard. Each leadership leans into a slightly different playstyle. Loki's leadership lets your characters reroll an attack, defense, or dodge die by spending a power, and he gains a power whenever they do it. It rewards smart, consistent resource management. The Mighty Thor brings a very aggressive frontline style, boosting your attack dice when you're close to enemies and helping defend against ranged attacks. Meanwhile, the classic Thor gives your characters the ability to heal or shake conditions by just spending 1 power at the start of your turn, a super flexible and beginner-friendly effect. While Asgard has strong tools, most of its characters are higher threat and more elite. That means you'll have fewer models on the board, and each activation matters more. For new players, that could be slightly punishing, so I'd rate them moderately to slightly advanced in terms of ease of use. The Avengers are one of the most beginner-friendly affiliations in the game. With a whopping 38 affiliated characters and 4 leaders to choose from, Steve Rogers from the original core box is often the go-to for beginners. His leadership makes your first superpower each turn cost 1 less, and that opens up tons of flexibility. Sam Wilson's Avengers are all about teamwork and momentum, giving your characters healing, condition removal, and movement every time one of your characters gets dazed or KO. It's great for aggressive or attrition-heavy teams. The newer Earth's Mightiest Captain America brings a dice manipulation angle that gives your team access to crit-like effects when attacking. And if you like techie counterplay, Iron Man's Hulkbuster's leadership helps you handle collision-heavy metas. With so many affiliated characters and leadership styles, Avengers are incredibly adaptable and very easy to pick up as a new player. Black Order has just 11 characters, but its leader Thanos brings a ton of power to the table. His leadership, Death's Agenda, gives you an extra VP every time you KO an enemy character, and he gets to use his Infinity Gems for free. Sounds incredible, right? Well, it is, but playing Thanos well requires finesse. He's expensive, and your entire team often revolves around his performance. If you're not getting value out of him every turn, the game can slip away fast. That makes Black Order a high-risk, high-reward team, and I'd call them moderate to slightly advanced for beginners. Fun to play, but definitely a little bit demanding. Brotherhood of Mutants has 16 affiliated characters and 2 very distinct leaders, Magneto and Mystique. Magneto's leadership rewards you for destroying terrain, generating tons of power for your whole team. It enables big, flashy plays, but can be vulnerable to matchups that don't offer much destructible terrain. Mystique leads with a more objective-focused style playstyle. Your team gets power when they interact with extracts, and she can sneakily control secure objectives using tokens. Brotherhood can be incredibly powerful. but Magneto's 6 threat cost and a few outdated characters can make squad building just a bit awkward. They're moderate for beginners, strong but with a bit of a learning curve. Cabal features a huge roster of 35 characters and 4 different leaders. The original Red Skull gives you power every time you deal damage, which is straightforward and beginner-friendly way to generate resources. His newer version from the Earth's Mightiest Core box, Red Skull Master of the World, lets you spend power or take damage to count skulls as crits, adding offensive consistency. Malekith the Accursed brings a fast, aggressive style, letting your characters gain power and movement when enemies are KO'd. And Sin's Red Mayhem leadership causes chaos by pushing enemies off objectives and sometimes stealing them, though it's a bit more random than the other leaderships. Overall, Cabal is packed with strong characters and leaderships that are easy to understand and apply on the table. For new players, they're a very solid and easy choice. Convocation is a more niche affiliation with 13 affiliated characters, all built around Doctor Strange and his mystical allies. What makes Convocation unique is that any of its members can be your leader, thanks to the Bars with No Doors leadership. And you could switch between 2 different effects depending on your game plan. One leadership mode gives you a place effect when you take damage, and the other gives you an attack and defense rolls against enemies who haven't activated yet. It's a clever and dynamic system, but it also comes with complexity. Convocation characters often carry extra rules, and managing spellbooks, positioning, and leadership timing can be overwhelming. For players who love tactical puzzles, Convocation is extremely rewarding, but for beginners, they're definitely on the difficult side. Criminal Syndicate includes 24 affiliated characters and is one of the more flexible affiliations in the game. Kingpin's leadership lets your healthy characters count as 2 models when securing objectives, making them amazing at holding the board. Shadowland Daredevil rewards aggression and objective play by giving your rerolls against enemies holding extracts. MODOK, Scientist Supreme, gives you access to reliable results when holding objectives, thanks to a die-fixing mechanic tied to wiles. And Claw has a self-centered leadership that allows him to advance every time an ally is dazed or KO'd. Across these styles, the unifying theme is board control and attrition, and the roster is deep enough to support a ton of strategies. That makes Criminal Syndicate easy to moderate for new players. They're not flashy, but they get the job done. Dark Dimension is one of the most unique affiliations of the game because it only has one leader, Dormammu. He's a massive 8-threat character, and he auto-affiliates your entire squad. His leadership gives everyone 1 extra power each round, but they take 1 damage if they hit 6 or more power during the power phase. This creates an interesting balance. You'll always have the juice to do the cool stuff, but you'll be chipping away at your team's own health if you're not careful. Dormammu's power is undeniable, but the playstyle is delicate and the team building restrictions are real. For beginners, I call Dark Dimension difficult, especially if you're still learning how to manage threat and power effectively. Defenders are a mystical leaning affiliation with 29 characters and 2 solid leaders. Doctor Strange and Daredevil. Strange lets your team change attack types once per turn and apply the Hex condition if they deal damage. Flexible tool that can help you weaken your target's defenses. Daredevil Marvel Knight's leadership focuses on scrappy, up-close combat. You get rerolls on your attacks based on how many enemies are nearby, which makes your team super consistent in a brawl. Defenders have a larger roster than some, but the leaderships are easy to grasp and very effective. They're easy to pick up and a great option for newer players who like mystic vibes or tight, punchy teams. Guardians of the Galaxy includes 13 characters and is led by Star-Lord, who brings one of the most beginner-friendly affiliations in the game. Each round, you hand out 3 winging tokens. Your characters can spend those tokens to reroll 2 dice on attacks or dodges, or defense rolls, adding consistency and helping you swing momentum in your favor. It's super easy to understand and always feels good to use. Guardians also have a diverse set of affiliated characters with different threat values and roles, so you'll rarely feel stuck during squad building. They're a great choice for new players who want to jump right in and have fun without needing to track a ton of moving parts. Emma Frost leads the Hellfire Club with her White Queen's Pawn's leadership. At the end of an allied character's activation, Emma can trigger the leadership. When she does, every other character that's contesting or holding an objective gains a power and removes the damage. On the flip side, any character not contesting or holding loses a power and takes a damage. Then, Emma herself gains 1 power for each power lost this way and heals 1 damage for each damage suffered. This leadership is just plain excellent. That said, it's not totally beginner-friendly. There's a bit of finesse required in managing your positioning, and newer players might struggle with the power and damage trade-offs, but it leans more towards the moderate to slightly hard in terms of ease of use. Hydra is one of the few teams with multiple leadership options. Starting with Baron Helmut Zemo, his Army of Evil leadership gives you an extra Team Tactics card slot, and whenever you spend power to use a Team Tactic card, you get 1 power back. The refund is nice but doesn't trigger all that often, and the leadership doesn't really help you with your game plan. Then there's Baron Structure Word, the Hydra High Council leadership, which is a bit more intricate. When you deal damage with an attack and the target has a special condition, you can hand that condition off to another enemy. Plus, when your opponent gains a condition this way, the attacking character heals one. But it can fall flat against teams that are immune to common conditions like poison or incinerate. Lastly, there's Red Skull Master of Hydra, who brings world domination, simple, effective, and always live. Characters holding or contesting objectives gain an extra power. That's just straight value every round. Hydra's overall ease of use is on the easy to moderate side. Zemo and Red Skull are pretty plug and play, while Strucker's plans needs a bit more attention. Inhumans also bring 3 leaderships to the table. First up is Black Bolt with the King of the Inhumans. This leadership lets one ally character spend a power during your turn to give a power to someone else within range 3. It's an incredibly powerful and flexible leadership, easily one of the top 5 in the game. You can pass power exactly where it's needed, and since it's not reliant on attacks or triggers, your opponent can't really interfere. Next is Maximus with the Call Me Maximus the Magnificent, and it lives up to the chaotic title. Each turn, the first time one of your characters attacks or defends, you must reroll 1 die. If you reroll into a skull, your opponent gets to place your model within range 1 of its current position, and Maximus gains a power. This leadership has a massive upside, tons of free rerolls, but can also punish you when you least expect it. Fun, weird, and occasionally game-breaking. Lastly, Medusa's Queen of the Inhumans is a leadership team's tactic card. When an allied character dazes or KOs an enemy, they gain a power, heal 1, and get a free small advance. It's a pure tempo boost that rewards aggression, but only works for models doing the dazing or KOing. Altogether, Inhumans are somewhere between the moderate to slightly complex. There's a lot of power manipulation and some quirks to work through, but the payoff can be massive. Legion of the Lost, led by Mephisto, offers a unique leadership through the Damnation Team's Tactic card. During the cleanup phase, your opponent chooses one of their non-daze characters without Incinerate. It gains 1 power and gets incinerated. Then, 2 of your characters gain a power. It's a weird one. You're giving your opponent some control, which is always a bit risky, but in return you gain a consistent power drip. This tends to work best in tall lists where every power gains matters more. Managing this card can be tricky at first, so the affiliation lands at moderate difficulty, but being able to run any character in your squad really helps smooth the learning curve. Midnight Suns offers 2 strong leaderships. Blade's Bump in the Night is the standout. Pay 1 power, place yourself within range 1. It's simple, flexible, and undeniably powerful. Then there's Elsa's Bloodstone Legion of Monsters. When attacking, you could spend 1 power to choose one of the 3 effects. Deal 1 damage to everyone nearby, apply Root, or make it so your opponent can't reduce or prevent the damage. Each one is situationally great, and more importantly, you'll always get to do something with your power. Midnight Suns are easy to moderate for new players. Blade's leadership is forgiving, while Elsa's adds a layer of tactical decision making. Magic leads the New Mutants with Cry for Help, a leadership card that kicks in after one of your characters is attacked. If another character within 3 can spend a power to place itself within range 1 of the one that was attacked. It's great for repositioning, reinforcing a flank, or jumping onto a secure. The catch is your opponent controls the trigger. They have to attack someone first. This affiliation is easy to moderate for beginners. It teaches you good positioning while offering some great reactive play. Shield has a full trio of leaderships. Nick Fury brings the last line of defense, which triggers if you're losing on VPs. When one of your models is dazed or KO'd for the first time, you gain a victory point. The second part allows damaged characters to spend a power and make a small advance towards a character who attacked him. It's a cool comeback mechanic and a sneaky aggression tool. New Iron Man from the Earth's Mightiest Core box offers the Let's Get You an Upgrade, a copy of Black Panther's leadership. Pay 1 power to reroll a dice when attacking, defending, or dodging. It's consistent and solid, just not super exciting. Then there's the Invaders, a team tactic card leadership that can be played by Captain America, Steve Rogers, or Namor. This card unlocks rerolls of one of your defense dice by default, and if you're near an ally, you can reroll skulls and modify them. That skull modification is no joke. It elevates this leadership big time. Shield is one of the most beginner-friendly teams in the game. All 3 leaderships are straightforward, and the team has plenty of ways to stay active and mobile. Sentinel Prime leads the Sentinels with the Mutant Hunter's leadership. This leadership gives you power when you daze an enemy. You choose a number of your characters equal to the enemy's threat, and each character gains a power. It's cool but only triggers on dazes, not KOs, and the power comes after the fact, which can feel a little late. It's solid but very underwhelming. Sentinels are one of the harder teams to recommend to beginners. Their leadership feels outdated, their models are expensive, and they can struggle without strong external support. Servants of Apocalypse is led by Apocalypse, who brings one of the most unique and complex leaderships in the game. You hand out custom horseman cards, Death, Famine, War, and Pestilence, to 4 characters, and those cards give them special effects and a way to earn evolution tokens. Apocalypse can borrow powers from his horsemen and spend tokens to reroll dice or fuel his own abilities. It's extremely flavorful and powerful, but it takes time to learn how to use it well. This is the most complicated leadership in the game. If you're new, it's best to wait before diving in. Spider foes have 2 leaderships. Green Goblin's Obscure Weaponry lets you reroll one of your opponent's defense dice once per turn. It sounds strong, but is dicey in practice. The odds are rarely in your favor. Dr. Octopus brings Sinister 6, which gives your team a power whenever they are attacked, and lets you clear 1 condition per turn. It's great against condition-heavy teams, but less impactful if your opponent isn't bringing those effects. Spider foes are easy to moderate for new players. They're straightforward bruisers with some fun tricks. Thraws of Dracula is led by Dracula's Bloodlust leadership, which is clean and thematic. Once per turn, you pay a power to give an enemy within range 2 bleed. If they already have bleed, you can heal the damage instead. It's a natural fit for their brawling playstyle. Cut them, bleed them, and outlast them. It's a great beginner leadership. Uncanny XMen offer 3 different leaderships. Storm's XMen Gold is beginner gold. Once per round, you can spend a power to place a character within range 2 of another character within 1. On top of that, you get a reroll when defending from ranged attacks. It's smooth, mobile, and makes scenario play easy. Cyclops' XMen Blue lets you transfer power to allies when you deal the damage. It's a cool idea, but can be a bit clunky at times. Lastly, Professor X brings Xavier's School for Gifted Children, which gives a power to another character when one uses a superpower. It creates strong synergy and rewards a well-balanced team. For beginners, Storm's leadership is easily the most forgiving and effective. Wakanda is stacked with leaderships. Original Black Panther gives you the King of Wakanda, which lets you pay a power to reroll 1 dice when attacking, defending, or dodging. It's consistent, simple, and strong in every situation. M'Baku's, blessed by the Gerki, helps trigger special effects and prevents your characters from being pushed off points if they're contesting. King T'Challa's Strength of the Ancestors rewards you for slamming enemies into terrain, but it takes a very specific setup to shine. Killmonger's Strength of a New Generation hands out herbs tokens that boost attacks, then damage and power up your characters at the end of the round. It's aggressive and flashy, but risky. For new players, stick with the classic Black Panther leadership. Clean, efficient, and easy to use. Weapon X is led by either Logan or X-23, both offering the It Was You leadership. You earn memory tokens whenever your characters are dazed or KO'd. They can spend those tokens to boost defense rolls and move towards the attacker. It's thematic and rewards you for scrapping it out, but it does have quirks. Weapon X is moderately complex. They're built to fight and heal through it, but the timing of their powers takes a bit of practice. Web Warriors come with 2 leaderships. Miles Morales leads with great responsibility, letting you reroll the defense dice once per turn. And if you're holding or contesting an objective, you can even reroll skulls. That's incredibly powerful and helps them stick to scenario play. Amazing Spider-Man offers Friendly Neighborhood Spider Team, which lets you pay a power to give an enemy slow. If they already are slowed, you get to place them within range 1 and remove the condition. It's clever and flexible, but trickier to use as well. For new players, Miles' leadership is fantastic. Defensive, mobile, and perfect for scoring early and often. Winter Guard is led by Crimson's Dynamo's Unbreakable Redline. This is a solid rock leadership. It clears 1 condition from a model at the start of each of your turns, and if you're contesting at a secure, you get to roll 1 dice. If it is a crit, wild, or hit, you can't be pushed off of the point. They're durable and super dependable. Their leadership is very beginner friendly, but their team can feel slow without some support. Last but not least, we have X-Force. Cabal leads the X-Force with his Wet Works leadership, giving each character a once per turn attack reroll and letting them ignore cover within range 3. It's all about efficiency, more damage, fewer headaches, and stronger offense. X-Force plays a fast, aggressive game, but often built around claws like X-23 and Sabretooth. It's an easy leadership to understand and use, but the team does require a bit of finesse to push objectives while fighting. Still, for new players looking for a team that hits hard and plays fast, X-Force is a great starting point. So, how do you pick the right team? If you're just starting out, the easiest and most fun way is to go with your favorite characters. Love the Avengers movies? Start with Cap and Iron Man. Big fan of the Mutants? X-Men might be your squad. And here's the most important thing. Don't stress it too much. Nothing is set in stone. You can switch affiliations between games, experiment, and build rosters over time. MCP is all about mixing and rematching, and most characters can be used in multiple teams, so try things out and have fun with it. Alright, that's your beginner guide to affiliations in Marvel Crisis Protocol. You now know what the affiliations are, how they work, and how to start finding the right one for you. Whether you're here for the strategy, the characters, or just to throw some dice, there's a team out there for everybody. If this video helped you out, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below telling us your favorite affiliation, or the one you're most excited to try. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.